it's exactly, I think, the nail on the head is the perception. I think there are good perceptions and there are not so good perceptions. I think, in terms of, if I can just start from something positive, sort of tangible example, what has happened over the last 6 months in business that is very, very tangible and that can be shown to the whole world that Ukraine is changing. I used to be in the mobile communications industry. I launched one of the first networks here in '97, GSM. And today, Ukraine conducted its 3G. Ukraine is the only country in Europe that does not have 3G network. Why? That's something inherited from the past. But what has changed? Ukraine conducted a tender, and the markets, the operators, the business community say this was probably the most transparent tender in Ukraine history. So that is something that is definitely there. So there are examples, but as you say, I think, the words we're using here, the march of reforms, I think, sometimes we would like it to be a sprint, but we understand it's a marathon. But, at the moment, it's more of a stroll than, so I think, as we would like these to be quicker, but, I think that's what we would like. I think in terms of the perception of the country, one of the issues I think especially it could be raised at the Security Forum is today the perception of Ukraine in the minds of many Western investors are, if you say Ukraine, what the BBC is showing, these are tanks, these are a country that's at war. Yes, 7% of the country is at war, but 90+% is still functioning and is open to business. I was speaking to potential Japanese investors yesterday. I mean, there are companies in Japan that are banning their employees traveling to Ukraine because they think it's a risk. And that's any travel. So when we're talking about investment. So I think, going back to the communications, this is something that I've been quite passionate about in the past. I think, it's finding the balance of what the Prime Minister said yesterday. It's finding the balance between a perception of boots, military boots, and business shoes. So how do we move from military boots to business shoes? And I think, if they're not, if Western countries aren't sending in military boots, let them bring in business shoes. And I think that is something we could work together with, working on these perceptions to get the real message out.
It's